seen that. Many people have talked, especially Baha'is, for sure I know, that most of them I've seen at least once a Baha'i, Iranian mostly I talk to, that they had this kind of prediction actually happening. The dream that they have is a very special means, really, if it's refined. It can make us to pass really through the time and know things even at the present even. I believe in future they could train a person in a room with white color. He stay there many months and he, let's say, study one particular subject, let's say Europa, the moon of Jupiter, all about it. And he has this spiritual capacity. As a Baha'i, he's very well informed. He's a scientist, a Baha'i scientist. And then he sleeps. Once he sleeps, there are gadgets connected to his head, and he goes to the computer, and he will actually go in Europa and brings materials that are very, very 80% correct. It has to be refined. And this happens to several people, and they bring all the same informations. Because we haven't studied really a particle called imaginum. Abdul-Baha conspicuously talks about the speed of imaginations. I'm going to be talking about that once. I've been speaking about this before anyways. So everyone has a particular language that we have written our files in our brain, who we are and what are the things that we care about. For example, some people, the most awesome things in their life that they're afraid of is a snake. Others are afraid of height. Others are afraid of being in the cold or in the sea, in desert. Everyone has a language to explain what is the most awesome and awful things to happen. So if something happens, were to be happening to you in future, if you have the capacity, activated capacity, then you'll see that in the form of the language. For example, any time that some material loss is coming to me, it is impossible. In my 50 years of life, I've seen it. I've been eating a piece of meat. Every time I eat a piece of meat, raw meat especially, or food that has meat in it, always there has been a material loss. So I lost money, or I got a ticket, lost something. It's just language. So everyone has a language that once he knows himself, how the file of his brain has hit him, the soul will explain to use that language to speak. Of course, most of the people, the dream that they see is not exactly what happens. So there is does not happen, because for you to require to see a dream that be a prophecy and a predictions, definitely you have to have the spiritual faith. So the spirit of faith. This is what I spoke before, that we have a vegetable self that takes care of the material body, and then we have the animal self that takes care of the vegetable soul, go around. Let's say body wants food, the animal gets up and goes to find food. Over the animal characters and animal installation, we have the human soul, which thinks how to find things, and this is where things ends. So our human, animal, and vegetable and material, But there is another one that the Baha'i faith insists upon. It's called the spirit of faith. It's another program. I've explained that before many times on the last night and last time and the night before, that is very difficult to explain what it is. But for those who want to get to it, Baha'i Faith explains how to get to that. It's a different thing. It's a different capacity. So it begins with knowing Baha'u'llah. If you don't know Baha'u'llah, spiritually you're blind, you're not alive. There's nothing living on this planet that does not know sun. Vegetable, they know it, they respond to it, animals do, humans do. Who is it not seeing the sun? Even blind people, they know the warmth and they see it. Somebody who doesn't see the sun is not alive. Sorry, is dead. A person who does not know Baha'u'llah, which is the spiritual sun, based on the prime directive of Abdul-Baha, that there is a physical and a spiritual parallel that exists. Just as there is sun that gives us physical warmth and life for physical body, there's a spiritual sun as well, which we know him as Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna. And only these people, there are not too many of them. The rest of them are claims, pretensions. But these major prophets of God, they're like suns. If you don't see Baha'u'llah, which is the manifestation of God now, you're in problem. You just do not, you can never activate that one. Because it's just beginning to be. Okay, there's nothing more than that really. But then if you go towards and try to see who Baha'u'llah is and what Baha'u'llah has said, you understand it, you spiritually grow. You develop different tastes that are not material. You like to serve people and help people and enjoy people differently. In that case, and then you start to act upon what he says, you are going to have dreams. I've seen many people, including myself, that in those visions that it starts to happen for you, it would be that you're chased by enemies, whatever it is that you have, and then you overcome those enemies, whether it's a snake or it's desert or something. And then, after that, you gradually fly in your dream. You actually fly. A lot of people do, but you will fly. And after that, you start to see the visions of the prophets of the past, like Jesus if you're Christian, Muhammad if you're Muslim, Buddha if you're Buddhist, and Krishna if you're a Hindu, Moses if you're a Jew. And then after that, I've seen people finally had a dream of Abdul-Baha, Shoghi Effendi. But it doesn't go to the dream and the vision of Baha'u'llah. That's a very difficult one. I've seen very few people in my life that they had a vision of Baha'u'llah. It is so important that Baha'u'llah says, if you had a vision of me, that cannot be wrong. It's true, he says. It's a meeting, it's not a vision. It's not a dream. You are not fabricating it. It's truth. Therefore, you have to read a tablet of visitation, particularly of those who have seen Baha'u'llah in their vision when they were sleeping, in their dreams. So, mechanism of it is that, I've explained this before too, the whole creation is basically a color of green, which we know a green have to have two agency to make it. There has to be two color, at least two, to mix to create green. In this case it's blue and yellow that mix together becomes green. Body and the soul is the same thing. Let's say in this example, say the body is yellow and the soul is green. The soul is blue. Together are green that I'm talking to you right now. And they are more not even attached, they're coinciding with each other. Just like two lenses, you have one blue and one yellow. They're not attached, but they're away on the top of each other, they're coinciding right there. and the light passes through, you see the green light. You don't really see blue and yellow, you see green right on the wall. In the dream, these two circles go away like this. Part of it becomes yellow, part of it becomes blue, and in the middle there's still green. Green representing life, you're alive. But you're not completely alive. If they call your name, you don't hear it. If you say, show a picture in front of your eye, it doesn't work. It's like a fridge, you know, when it goes, resets itself. And then after, sometimes it will restart again. You go in a state which is not death, but is not also life. But you're alive because the green is in the center. If they really hit you hard, you wake up. At this time, part of you is yellow, is like dead. And the other part, which is blue, which is the consequence of being yellow on the ground, that is almost like dead, not green totally, not fully alive, that yellow part is the spirit. Now that is living in a different dimensions. If it's activated, it has the spirit of the faith, is alive then. It goes around and he sees things that concerns him or her, and then when you wake up and these two yellow and blue again, they go exactly on the top of each other, just like a typist. It types using the data of your brain as what happened. And you have to understand the meaning of it. As I said, if it's something awful is going to happen, you see some kind of an enemy that you're afraid of, your body is afraid of, and you see it. It's just much like a writer behind a type machine. All his feeling, this poet, all his feeling, his things, he's typing in the form of words. Those words are carrying that feelings, you see. He talks about, the poet talks about all kind of things. He's trying to express his feeling. It's exactly the same thing. Soul sees things that wants to explain its feeling. And the typewriter is what you have put in your head, what you know. Okay? Let's continue. So I've written these notes that I do not miss something. The dream that has meaning can be interpreted. Usually the person himself can interpret it.